Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and this is my channel Sewing Bunny. Thank you so much for joining me in my video today, which is discussing how I got on with my 2023 Make 9. Now, before I talk about that, I just want to have a quick section here just to say thank you very much to anyone that watched my Vlogmas. I really appreciate it and I appreciate all the messages. It's been absolutely lovely having you follow along with me during December, and yeah, just thank you so much. For any sort of one that's wondering about my wrist, it's out of the splint more than it is in the splint now, so I'm recovering really well. I only need to wear my splint now for you know, if I'm doing things around the house, I'm sewing, or maybe it's just a bit achy, but yeah, I'm doing my exercises, and yep, the fracture is really on the mend, so yeah, I'm doing really well, so thank you very much. So shall we get started? Actually, just quickly before, again, if anyone's wondering, I am wearing a Me Made shirt today. This is the Friday Pattern Company Donny shirt that I'm just wearing with a ready-to-wear cardigan. Okay, so on to my 2023 Make 9 update. So I'm going to insert my grid here, and what I like to do every year is almost separate sort of each line into a category. And what I decided to do this year was to break it down into 3 categories. The first one being repeats of what I wanted to make, so patterns that I have already made in the past, but I wanted to repeat again. The second one was Big 4 patterns. I always like to put a line of Big 4 in my Make 9 because I probably make a lot more indie patterns than I do Big 4 patterns, and actually some of the Big 4 patterns are really good, so I do always like to include a line of Big 4. And then the last line at the bottom was sewing patterns from books. I wanted to use my sewing books a lot more often, so I thought I would pop some into my Make 9. So how I'm going to just go through my grid is I'm going to start off at the top left and go across, then to the middle left and across, and then the bottom left and across. So I'll go through each pattern. I have got my notebook here just because I can't remember all of the pattern names and numbers without having to pause the video every 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm just going to read in my notes every now and again. So let's get going. So starting off in the top left corner, we have got the Frida blouse by Atelier Jupe. So I have made this blouse before. I absolutely loved it. And I had so many plans of wanting to make this blouse again after I made it the first time, and I didn't. So I wanted to put it in my Make 9 because I wanted to kind of almost force myself to actually really focus on making that blouse. And I did. So this was the one that I made in this, oh, probably one of my favourite fabrics. This is a Minerva exclusive viscose challis, and oh, just the colours in it are absolutely beautiful. As I say, I've made the pattern before, so I still had to follow along the instructions and everything, but I found it quite straightforward to actually do again. A lot of it came back to me as to like some of the techniques and things. So I also added these lovely sort of turquoisey buttons, which I think match beautifully with the flowers and everything. So I'm so pleased with this, and as I say, I love the colours. So I'm so pleased that I did manage to get round to that one. I will insert obviously some pictures of me wearing it as well. I will try and insert pictures wherever possible. But yeah, glad to say that one, tick, managed to do that. The second one on my grid was the Megan Nielsen Acacia Knickers. Now this is a free sewing pattern that I have made a long time ago. I did like a big batch of them, and I found the pattern really good. I find them so comfortable to wear. They're a great shape and style for me. And I thought, you know what, I need to, you know, make more because I've got loads of jersey scraps that I'm not using. However, this one I didn't manage to do in 2023. I have got lots of jersey scraps, but no, I haven't made them. I think potentially what I need to do is get in the habit of, once I've got jersey scraps, rather than just putting them in my scrap bin, is actually maybe cut out some of them and then put them to one side, and then once I've maybe finished a project, just quickly whip up a couple of pairs or something like that. That's probably something that I really should try and do, but we all say we're going to do these things and then we never do. But I do have quite a lot of jersey scraps, so I would still like to make those at some point because, yeah, as I say, they're a great pattern. If you haven't tried it, I do recommend it. I really, really enjoy making that pattern. And it is definitely one that's good if you want to do like some batch sort of sewing. So yeah, we'll maybe do that one another time. But yeah, didn't make it from my Make 9 this year. Then we've got the Coco Wobble Crafts honeycomb dress. So you may have heard me talk about this one in my other videos, but I previously had made 2 honeycomb dresses, both of which I loved. The first one I made was a chambray one, just a plain blue chambray. It was probably one of my really early makes. I loved it and I wore it loads, but it wasn't very well made, not the best sewn, and unfortunately it was coming apart a little bit. I used a very, very cheap chambray for it as well. So yeah, it wasn't the best quality, and it was just getting to the point of I was taking it out of the washing machine and it was just getting almost threadbare. So I did have to put that into textile recycling, unfortunately. And then the second one that I made was in a double gauze, but it was a really bright yellow. And I just found, I loved it in a double gauze, but the yellow was just, I just wasn't reaching for it in my wardrobe. So that one I donated. Yeah, I decided, you know what, I really want to make my chambray version again. But I did make it. I didn't do it in a plain chambray. I actually did it in a patterned chambray, which is this one. So this one was reasonably recent, yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. I absolutely love this this chambray. So it's a Rose and Hubble fabric that I picked up at Roy's Material World when I was up in Leicester for the Dressmakers Ball. So yeah, it's got some nice happy memories, this fabric, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's actually even better than my first one. I think I'm going to wear this even more because I think actually the patterned chambray is much more me. I think I can wear like long sleeved sort of things like t-shirts sort of underneath it. I think it teams up really well with lots of other things in my wardrobe. Like I can wear like different colour leggings, my trainers. I absolutely love it. It's going to be one of my key pieces in my wardrobe. So I'm so pleased that I did do this one. I finished it off with some lovely little sort of pearly buttons as well, which I think blend really nicely in with the fabric. I've got the ties on as well. I just love how it fits. And yeah, I'm so pleased that I did tick that one off my Make 9. So happy with that one. Okay, so 2 out of 3 from the first line. So the second line, this one was my big 4 patterns that I wanted to include in my Make 9. And I tried to do a little bit of a variety in here. So the first one was the V9084, which I do have here, this one. Now, I am including that I made this, even though I didn't. All will be explained. So I picked this pattern because I wanted to make this version here. I wanted a t-shirt with a high-low hem. I really liked this version, and I came to making this up and I had a look on the back and I actually thought that this was a jersey pattern, but it wasn't. It's actually for woven. You can use Ponte according to the reverse, and to be honest, you probably could just make this in a jersey. But I kind of thought, oh, actually, I really wanted to make it in a jersey. And then I realised I had in my stash a jersey version of it, basically. So I made sort of, well, this version, but with short sleeves. So it's more or less this pattern. The only difference is if I turn this to the line drawings on the back here, you can see that on the front it's got like these darts sort of here, and then it's got like the actual skirt piece which goes and has the dip, so you can see there is actually a line with darts, whereas this one I actually preferred, I should have picked this one actually for my Make 9 anyway. It is actually, you can see on here, it's got no line connecting the bodice and the skirt, and it's just got a seam down the back. So I actually much prefer the fact that it's almost, well, you can see in this one perfectly, it's got a much nicer flow to it. So even though officially it was this pattern in my Make 9, the design is still one that I made. So I'm saying that's a yes. Some of you may disagree, but it's my Make 9. I make the rules. So I'm counting that actually I did make this. So this one, I actually did a sew along, I think, for this pattern as well. And I used a beautiful fabric, if I do say so myself. It was this viscose jersey. Sorry, it's a little bit creased. This was from Felicity Fabrics, and just absolutely stunning. These hummingbirds trying to get to all these lovely flowers. It's such a beautiful fabric, and I love the high-low hem nature of it. I love how it fits. It's so nice. I'm so pleased that I did make it, and that I changed, you know, the actual pattern, because I think this one is much more my style. I love how it fits. I love how it skims just over your tummy. You can wear leggings with it because it just covers your bum as well at the back. Yeah, really happy with that one, and I have worn that a lot. It just goes with so much things. All I do is mainly wear it with a pair of black or blue leggings, and then I just throw over a little cardigan, and it's just a perfect little outfit. And I've had so many compliments on this fabric as well. Loads of people have said how pretty it was. So next up on that line, it was the Simplicity 9385, which is this one. I didn't make this, and I'm very sad about it, because I had it in my plans. If you'd seen my, I think it was my October and November plans videos, this was included in it, and I still didn't get around to making it. I had my fabric picked out and everything, but I didn't get around to it. So I still have the idea in my mind to make it, but it just didn't get made in 2023. So yeah, that's a little bit sad, that one. It's just a really nice jumper. I really liked the fact that it had these sort of tight cuffs with this sort of puff sort of bit there as well. I just thought it was a really nice design. I think I probably would have made the 3/4 sleeve version with the slightly shorter cuff, just because I think having a long tight cuff probably wasn't that practical, I think. And I would have done the longer length. This bodice, sorry, is a bit shorter than these other ones, I believe. I think it might be that this one's the longer one. But yeah, it will be made hopefully at some point, but just, yeah, not this year. And then that leads me on to, what did I do with the pattern envelope for this one? Forgot to get this one out of the drawer. But yeah, it was the Butterick B6679, which is this one here. And you can probably tell from the pattern envelope, yes, I did make this one. I love this dress. So when I bought this pattern, these two versions didn't interest me at all. I don't like the fact that they are sort of quite tight fitting around the stomach and everything. It wasn't me at all. This version, however, I fell in love with. I loved the bodice and I loved the flowy skirt. And if you can see from the line drawings on here, so you've got like this knot detail in the middle with these straps, and then you have like this wide sort of band that sits just under the bust going to the waist, and I really liked how that looked. Now it is elasticated at the back here, however I didn't put elastic in mine because I didn't think it was actually needed. I think it fits beautifully without. And again, I picked a really lovely fabric for this. You'll notice a bit of a theme with those sort of ones I've done, very bright and very colourful, which will change later on. This is probably the last of the bright and colourful. But yeah, this was a fabric from Pound Fabrics. Oh, I'm so pleased with it. It is this one. It's so bright and colourful. It's got this kind of retro sort of vibe to it. I absolutely love it. And the picture of me wearing this was actually my most liked picture of 2023 on Instagram as well. So you guys loved it too. And I must admit, when I'm wearing this dress, I feel really like comfortable. I feel really feminine in it. I love the shape of it. I love how it looks on me. I need to make more of these dresses. And actually this one, when I made it and I was taking my photos and stuff out in the garden, even my husband said that is a really, really pretty dress. I mean, he likes everything I make, but it's not very often that he actually goes, I really like that. And he did really like this one. So yeah, I love this dress. I'm so pleased with it. It's a jersey fabric, let's say, from Pound Fabric, so it was very reasonably priced as well. And what I really like about the pattern, as well as having this sort of knot detail and having the wide band and everything, is actually it's lined as well. And I lined it just in some plain black jersey, which you can see there. So it's got a nice lined bodice. So to be honest, you probably, if you wanted to, you could get away without wearing a bra with it. I personally would still wear a bra with it, but yeah, it's quite nice. It gives sort of a nice bit of padding to it. Yeah, what else can I say? I love it. I'm so pleased that I made it. So 2 out of 3 on line 2, so doing very well. So the third line, this was patterns that were from sewing books. I wanted to use my sewing books a bit more, so that's why I wanted to pick a few patterns from there. So the first pattern was the Derwent trousers, which is from the Wendy Ward book, Sewing with Knitted Fabrics. I think it's a beginner's guide. I'm not sure if my book's around, it is somewhere. Yeah, it's a really, really nice book if you're new to knits and you just want some really basic patterns. And I'd been seeing these Derwent trousers for ages. I kept saying I wanted to make them. And this one, I'm saying I did make them, even though I haven't 100% finished them. But I'm recording this on the 30th of January, so I still have today and tomorrow to finish them, to be able to say I completed them in 2023. I'd be very surprised if I don't, because I do plan to do some sewing this afternoon, and it should be maybe a 30-minute job to finish them, I think. So at the moment I do have them inside out, just because of what I'm doing with them, but here they are. So they are made in a grey ponte. This is a lovely sort of heavy ponte that I picked up from Fabrics Galore. It's a lovely, lovely weight, and I've done my rainbow overlooking on them just because I thought it'd be fun on the inside, because I mean, they're grey trousers. It's not exactly the most interesting of colours unless you particularly love grey, but they're, to be honest, going to be work trousers for me. So I thought, you know, when I'm putting them on, I can see a flash of the rainbow overlooking, and yeah, to be a bit more colourful. So all I need to do with these is to insert the elastic. The reason why these weren't finished before I filmed this is because I got my elastic measurement wrong. You're meant to have 3-inch wide elastic, and I wrongly presumed that I had that in my stash. I only had 2-inch wide elastic. So I've actually bought, which arrived today, my 3-inch wide elastic, which I'm going to pop on around the top and then simply fold it down, and I've got my facing. And then the last bit would be just to get them hemmed at the bottom. So in my view, they are complete, because it's just literally attaching the elastic and hemming them, which I'm going to do today. So for me, they're done. So I might not have any pictures to share with you, because yet by the time I'll finish them, it will be dark. I won't be able to get any natural light ones. And if I take pictures, I like to take reasonably nice pictures where it kind of shows details of things. But you'll just have to maybe imagine what these will look like until I post up a picture, which will probably be in the new year, once I've got some decent light to get some pictures. But yeah, to me, that's complete. So next up was the Gertie book, which was Gertie Sews Modern Vintage. I'd had this book for a while. I hadn't made anything out of the book. So I thought I'm going to make something out of it because she has some beautiful designs in that book. And the one that really struck me was the Sweetheart top. I really liked the obviously the Sweetheart neckline. It has like a little ruche effect at the front, and in Gertie's book she did a plain black version, and I just thought that that would be a great wardrobe staple, so I made it. Now this is what I mean about my first few makes were like really bright and colourful. These ones not so much, grey and black. So you can't really see a lot of the details in this, so I won't linger too much on showing you the details here, but I will pop a picture in of me wearing it where it does show the detail of that beautiful Sweetheart neckline. I love this top. The only thing I will say about it is I love how it fits up here, but it is still a little bit tight on the tummy. It is one of those ones where, yeah, I wouldn't feel amazingly comfortable like sitting down for a long time in it. It's more of a, if I'm standing and I can kind of wear some high-waisted trousers or something, it's sort of like that. Just for me, yeah, I prefer a much sort of looser t-shirt. So what I might do is when I make it again, because I loved the neckline, is I might kind of change the like the bodice from the bust downwards and make it a bit looser, just because, yeah, I say I love it, but it's just a little bit tight. But other than that, you know, it's a beautiful top. So yeah, really pleased that I made that one. And then lastly was from the Tilly and the Buttons book, Make It Simple, was the Sapphire dungarees, or Sapphire dungarees, however you pronounce it. I say Sapphire. And I'd seen so many versions of this. I'd made the trousers on a few occasions, great trousers, but I'd never made the dungaree version. I've made so much stuff from Tilly's books. I think her books are fabulous. And I just thought I'd need to make the dungarees. And yes, I did. Now, again, spot a trend. We've got black. Because I think these ones from the books, I just found that I needed to make really practical versions of them. So the grey trousers, the black t-shirt, and the black dungarees. And I made these in a gabardine twill. Again, you're not going to really be able to see too much detail on here, but you can kind of see where the bib section is, and then obviously it goes into the trousers. It's got great deep pockets, lovely, lovely pockets on here. And yeah, it was a really nice sew. I really enjoyed it. They're quite sort of wide-legged, which I thought was actually quite nice. Now, I only had, I think, 2 meters, or did I have 1.5 meters? I can't remember. I didn't have loads of the gabardine fabric, and I couldn't extend the length anymore. And I mean, they're probably maybe a squidgy bit shorter than probably what I'd like, but, you know, only literally, I would only extend them by 1 inch or something, and then they'd be perfect. The only other thing that I need to do next time is I need to, I think, lower the waist. So where this line sort of goes, I think I just need to extend it just a tiny bit, again, just about 1 inch, because I found that where I was wearing my belt with it, it wasn't, the line wasn't sitting quite on my waist. It was sitting maybe a little bit above, and it kind of then made the trouser section rise a little bit more than I'd like. So it was a little bit snug, I think, sort of on the crotch. Not by any means uncomfortable, but it was one of those things of, yeah, I need to extend to make it fit my waist correctly, in which case then the trousers, because I've made the trousers loads of times and I've got no problem with that, because where I've made them I can get the elastic to sit right on my waist, whereas with the dungarees it just wasn't quite right. So if I do make them again, that's the only adjustment that I would make, but other than that, Loved them. I wore them to the Stitch Festival. I think it was March. I think that's when I made them. And yeah, they were just really, really nice. They're so nice to wear with, I say, bright colour t-shirts underneath, like tops, even like my shirt sort of thing. I've worn them before with them. They're really, really nice, and they're also quite smart as well. So if I can get away with wearing them at work, which is fab. So that was my grid. So I made 7 out of 9. I am so pleased with that result. That is a great result in my view. And yeah, the other 2 patterns, yeah, it would have been nice to have made those, but hey ho, it didn't happen. And I think it was the previous year I didn't really make that many of my Make 9. Make 9 it's not necessarily a challenge which, you know, I have to make all 9. For me personally, the Make 9 challenge is purely just what are 9 patterns I'd like to do, and it just means that if at any point I might be thinking, oh, I don't know what pattern to make, or even probably more what happens to me is there's too many patterns that I want to make, and I kind of think, well, actually, let's have a look at my Make 9 grid. What was there, something I really wanted to make? Oh, I'll focus on that one. That's just how it works for me. So I'm really pleased with it. So let me know how you got on, if you took part in your Make 9. How many did you get round to doing? I'd love to know. And yeah, I'm going to record my new Make 9 very, very soon for 2024. So keep an eye out for that. And I'll speak to you very soon in that video. Take care. Bye.